Welcome to Direction Northeast. Hello, I'm Anthony Frazier. This program is a presentation of the Mass Communications Department for Northeast State Community College, and it's produced by the students through the college's video production facilities. This series of programs is designed to bring you the students' perspective on events and happenings throughout Northeast Tennessee. The program is part of the classroom and laboratory learning process for students in broadcasting and advertising public relations part of the mass communications area. As a part of Black History Month, a forum was held recently on the Northeast State campus concerning African Americans and how they are seen on television. Joining us on this edition of Direction Northeast are two participants of that forum. We'll begin our discussion in just a moment.
I've had a great experience at Northeast State. It has a lot to do with my teachers. They really set you up to succeed.
The cardiovascular technology program is one of 23 accredited programs in the United States. We have standards that are higher than other programs that we must meet.
With a new building and bigger facilities, it will enhance every student's experience.
The Regional Center for Health Professions, located in the new Kingsport Academic Village, houses all Northeast State's health-related programs. Northeast State, we're here to get you there.
Our guests for this discussion are certainly familiar with the issues associated with television's approach to presenting black culture. Mr. Bernie Orenstein is best known as a producer and writer of some of network television's greatest series. His credits include Hollywood Palace, That Girl, and What's Happening. He produced 73 episodes of NBC's Sanford Son. Joining Mr. Orenstein is Reverend C.H. Charlton. Dr. Charlton is a pastor for the Friendship Baptist Church and is an associate professor at Northeast State, having taught development studies and courses in Black history. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Hi, nice to be here. Good to be here.
Mr. Orenstein, I'll let you start out our discussion. Recently, Ebony Magazine posted their top 25, their list of top 25 black television shows of all time. And topping the list was The Cosby Show, A Different World, and Living Single, which featured Queen Latifah. What qualities do you find in these programs that might make them rank so high?
Sanford Son wasn't one of them. I'm very disappointed in that. Well, I think The Cosby Show is a very important show for the black community. It showed America the way blacks should be seen, as opposed to the Amos and Andy stereotypical Beulah, J.J. Walker kind of character. And I think that was important, and it was a wonderfully written, very funny show that people could adapt to. They identified the Cosby family.
Yeah. Now, media theorist William Stevenson described television as a funhouse mirror, reflecting elements that were there but purposely distorting them. What qualities do you feel network television focused on its reflection of the Afro-American community?
Well, at first, it focused on the stereotypical minstrel-type performances. Fortunately, later, it only concentrated on delivering a funny, good show. Cosby, Sanford, Good Times, all those shows, the shows you mentioned, were primarily interested in entertaining and didn't concern themselves enough, probably, with any black culture problems.
Let's see. Now, Reverend Charlton, let me ask you, from a historical perspective, was network television's portrayal of blacks in the 50s and 60s unique, or was it part of the widespread segregation of that era?
I think it was part of the acculturation of people seeing you in a certain way and presenting it that way. And I think when we were talking earlier in the week, when Bernie was talking with us about the fact that if it sold, it went, and that sold. It was not something that was very pleasing. Sometimes people accepted some things because they were happy to see someone there on TV. But I think it showed how folks really felt, how people thought. And then you began to see the transformation after the 60s.
Right. Many critics are quick to point out the step and fetch it qualities that you were just speaking about of some earlier programming like Amos and Andy. Defenders of the media equally point to TV stars like Nat King Cole and Harry Belafonte. Were there two standards for blacks on television and early television?
Well, apparently, because Nat Cole, his show got canceled because the Southern affiliates wouldn't take it. Harry Belafonte's show lasted, I think, 4 weeks or 5 weeks. They couldn't sell it. Sammy Davis couldn't perform with a white dancer in the same shot as he was. There was a lot of problems in those days that fortunately are not there now. We've come a long way. Wouldn't you say that?
Yes, we really have. Really have. Because I remember when they used to, with Nat Cole, they would lighten him up, his hands, his face, and neck.
Darn.
And I never will forget the first time I saw that. I'd seen that before on TV, and then it was when they had the little things, just vignettes of people singing or performing. And I looked at him and I thought, what has happened to him? Because Nat was not that light, and it looked weird on him. But they did that to lighten him up.
That's interesting. When Julia Carroll portrayed a nurse on her groundbreaking series, Julia, African Americans were for the first time portrayed as professionals. What kind of impact do you feel this had on the black community?
I think a lot. First of all, that show came many years after Amos and Andy, and very few black shows were around in that period. And she was a nurse. She was gorgeous. She had a cute son, and they were the only two blacks on the show. It was basically a white show with a black star. And it was very successful. And there was no minstrel quality in that show whatsoever. I mean, she was a person you would love and envy all the time.
So do you think it shaped the black community at
Oh,
all?
absolutely. I think it was an important show. Important show.
As sitcoms changed, so did the way black families were portrayed. The Jeffersons, Good Times, and of course Sanford and Son, they were seen as new and different. And how would these new sitcoms allowing a new image of black families to emerge? How were these new sitcoms allowing new image of black?
I don't think The Jeffersons was really a black show. You could have done that show with a white family, person coming from the ghetto, having his own business, doing well, and the problems he had. Sanford was different. It was a star-driven show, and Red was so tremendously talented and popular. He could do anything. I think. But I think the shows generally, a lot of the shows that were so-called black shows could have had white performers. There wasn't a lot different. I think you could find instances where there were differences, but they were the same. Cosby Show wasn't a black show, was it? Just had wonderful black performers.
Yeah. Now, NBC's Sanford Son was based on a British program called Steptoe and Son.
Correct.
Now, what significance can be placed on the fact that the lead characters went from white antique dealers in London to junk dealers in Watts?